because being scared of money is real. When you never had it and you've always been broke, when you get it, you be like, take it. Give each dollar a role that it needs to fulfill.
I am blessed, I am blessed, I am blessed, I am.
What's up, ladies? Welcome back to another Modest Kid video where we walk, talk, and dress with intention. And I'm your host today, Modest K. Today I'm giving you 5 ways on how to be a better steward of your money. Stewardship is basically how well can you handle something that is interested in you? How well can you handle something that someone hands you? Sometimes in life we think we need more. We need more money, we need more time, we need more. And really it's can you manage what you already been given, what God has already blessed you with? So that is stewardship. Stewardship is managing what you already have, is managing it with care. So these are the 5 ways on how I master stewardship. One of the best ways that I'm able to manage money better in my life is the first thing that I think when I get that paycheck and it hits my account is, this is not mine. The first thing I think is, I am managing it. I do not own this. The first thing I think is, this does not belong to me. I get what's left, but it does not belong to me. And the reason why I think like that is because that's how I'm able to save. Most people are able to just, I don't know how other people cope, but me, I have to literally tell myself, this is not for me. This is not my money. Because when you get paid, first thing you're thinking, can't nobody tell me nothing because I worked hard, this is my money. No. When you get paid, the best way to think, the best way that helps me, this does not belong to me. The best way to think, someone entrusted this in me, and now it's my job to manage and put this where it needs to be. Now, if there's any leftovers, right, after we put some to the savings, yes, you know, some is yours. But when them big, you know, when the big bucks and things like that, it's best to think, this does not belong to me. Let me manage this. The reason why is because when you see yourself as a manager of the money and it does not belong to you, you become more thoughtful of how you spend money. So let's just say if I was to hand you $100, you would be like, and I say, hey, can you go get this and this for me, right? You will make sure that you get exactly what I asked for. You will make sure you get exactly what I needed, that I asked of you, right? And you will make sure you bring my change back. I hope. But you will make sure you bring my change back, right? So that is how you want to feel about your own money. Because if you go to the store and you tell yourself, I'm going to go get this and this, and you pick up this and this, and you mean it in yourself, it's called self-control, guys. When you mean it with yourself, like, okay, hold on. Don't ever think that I don't struggle with this, because I went to Walmart and I seen the most cutest purse and the lady had it in the line. And I said, excuse me, is that your purse? She was like, yes. She said, I just got it from back there. And mind y'all, I had a list of things to grab. I was literally trying my best not to spend any more money, because I had to have self-control to know this money does not belong to me. I have to manage this correctly or I will go broke. I love clothes, I love items, and I used to buy clothes a lot in high school, and because I had no bills, nobody to tell me no, I couldn't even tell myself no. So whenever I would see stuff that I couldn't even fit because I was a little tiny, stuff I couldn't even fit, stuff that I wouldn't even wear, I had to get it. And I was a little addicted to just buying clothes back then. And I realized it, and I'm like, yeah, no, you know? So now this is something that I don't struggle with as much as I used to, but it is something I have to pay attention to, because when you see something you love and it looks really good, and it's like, oh my gosh, that would go cute with this coat that I have, with these boots that I have, with this purse that I have, you have to tell yourself no. So the best way to think is, I am managing this. Let me grab this from here, and run out of this store. If you have to, run. Number 2 is, think to yourself, this money has assignments. The money that I have, it has a job. So this $100 has a job, this $100 has a job, this $100 has a job. Before spending, the best thing to do is think to yourself, these hundreds have a job. They all each have a role that they need to fulfill. And I know some people's like, wow, is it that deep? It really is, because if you do not give your money places to go, later on you're going to think to yourself, where did my money go? Because it's so easy to swipe the card, it's so easy to hand out the cash, and then you start thinking like, oh well, it's cool, I got, you feel me, I had a little bit more on my card. You turn around, that little bit more is gone, you know. And it's like, where did it go? We give each dollar a role that it needs to fulfill. Best thing to do before you spend any of your money, give each dollar a role. Bills, rent, groceries, emergency fund, daycare if you have kids. Another thing is saving. Then it's happy time. Then it's your money. You know, you gotta, you know, whatever's a little bit of crumbs left, you know. When you're an adult, you get the crumbs. That's just how it goes until you, but the best thing about this, in the beginning, it's gonna feel like crumbs, right? The more you do it, it's gonna start feeling like the big bucks. So that's why stewardship, even the small, even the little bit, is very important. Because if you, let's say if somebody give you 50 cents every day, over time it will turn into $100. Over time it will turn into $1,000. Over time, like if I keep giving you 50 cents, it will add up. That's what money does. Money adds up. So the more you let it sit, the more that you build on it, it will add up, and you'll never be broke. Another thing that's not even on my list is never spend your last. Never spend your last. If you have only $5 to your name after taking care of all your bills, that goes straight into your savings. I'm sorry, you're broke. The reason why you never want to spend your last, because you never know what might happen in life, and you want to always have something saved up. Don't ever spend your last. That is something I've also taught to myself that I didn't put on here, and I want to make sure I say it before I forget. Don't spend your last, ladies. I know that life is so easy, especially things are beautiful and you want to go out, you want to have fun. You can't afford it. You just cannot afford it, and it's hard to admit, and it's hard to say to yourself sometimes, but you just can't afford it. You know, like, and it's okay. You will be able to afford it if you can master stewardship. You won't be here forever if you master stewardship. If you don't master stewardship, that $5 that you spend on whatever you spend it on will just go, and you'll be right back there next week, and you'll be right back. You feel me? You gotta kind of break these cycles. And I know that sometimes it's hard for us to admit, but you just can't afford the habits that you have. So if you do have a drinking habit, if you do have a smoking habit, if you do have a going out habit, an eating out habit, a clothing habit, if you have, or you're a sneakerhead, if you have these habits, you can't afford them, and you have to be honest with yourself, because if not, you won't be able to break these patterns. And not breaking these patterns, you'll be right back to where you are next week, and then the next week, and then the next year, and then the next year, and you want to break it. I believe you could break it. Money without assignments, they tend to wander off. I had a little challenge where I don't leave money in my purse no more. And the reason why is because I am so quick to give it away to, if I see homeless people, or I'm so quick to just give it away. Like, I give money away. Like, I don't even want, like, I had a habit of that. And I think that comes from a fear of being successful, because it's given away, and it's take everything I have because I don't know how to work with it, if that makes sense. So I would give money away. Like, I would literally, like, one time I saved up more than enough money. I was working 2 jobs. I saved in high school. I saved up more than enough money to get my own place, and I said, I'm gonna move out when I turn 19. I saved up the money. When it was time to move out, I said no. So instead of moving out, I said, heck no, I'm not moving away from my mom and my siblings. I can't do this. So I took all my money and I splurged it. I bought my brother's clothes, I bought my mom some clothes, I bought my sister some clothes, I bought myself some clothes. I'm buying everybody's stuff. And the reason why, and I blew the thousands of dollars that I had, that I literally saved up from working. And the reason why is because I was getting too close to success and moving on, and I didn't know how to move on. And I say all that to say, enough is enough. guys. Like, we have to tell ourselves no, and we have to say it's okay to steward. It's okay to have thousands and thousands of dollars. This is for someone who is scared of money, who is scared of success, because being scared of money is real. When you never had it and you've always been broke, when you get it, you be like, take it. And I know so many people that do it, and I even done it myself, so I know that it's real. And I'm telling you, it's okay. You can manage this money. It doesn't matter how many thousands God has blessed you with, you can manage it. You just have to be willing, and when you are willing, it will all work out. So give each dollar a roll and try not to let your money wander off. Number 3, someone else will be affected if you spend the money. So another way to think is, mom guilt is real, but another way to think is, if I spend this, it will affect someone else. If you have kids, this is for moms who have kids, or just for yourself. It would affect you in the future. Think about yourself in the future. You don't have to think about, oh, if you gotta make up fit kids, then make up fit kids. Sometimes you gotta do that. Sometimes you be like, listen, I got kids in the future I gotta feed. You gotta think like that if you have to. Think like that, like, where do I want to be next year? And apply it to that. Think about, this affects my children. This affects the future me, the woman I'm trying to be. So the best thing to do is to think, who am I affecting if I just spend this money carelessly? When you remember that money impacts more than just you, it changes your decision. Your choices can affect your children, your home, your future. It can affect your future stability. And the best way to be when it comes to money, who am I affecting with this? Am I affecting my future self? Is this building my future self? Is this building up my kids? The best thing to do is to try to do not live above your means. Try to get what you can afford. Try to get what you can afford to give your children, you know? And it's okay to do what you can. It doesn't make you any less. My mom, she has 7 kids, and I am the 3rd out of the 7, so I'm like the oldest. And I'm not the oldest, I'm the 3rd. There's 2 older boys in front of me, and I felt like we were rich, even though I didn't care about the things that other kids cared about. Like, I cared about other things, but my mom, she always makes sure that we had clothes and shoes and things like that, and I really appreciate her for it. But it's just like, some things you have to be able to be like, okay, if my child does not have this, is this needed? Ask yourself, will this decision help or hurt the people that are connected to me, that lives in my household? If I splurge, if I spend this money, will this affect my children? Will this affect my future self? Number 4, think to yourself, my future self needs this too. Not wants this, but needs this money. Your future is your responsibility. It's not your mom's, it's not your dad's, it's not your partner's, it's not nobody else's but yours. The way that you move today will be the way that you move tomorrow and the next day and in the future. So you want to create habits that cannot be broken because you managed it when you were younger, and when you got older, it's easy. It's so easy for you. Like I said, when I was younger, it was so hard for me to say no, and I would buy clothes that I couldn't even fit because I'm just like, it's so cute. I would buy all these purses and all these shoes and things like that I didn't, you know, I just seen it and I took it, right? I seen it and I brought it. But it's like, you have to be able to, now that I'm grown, now that I'm older, I know how to say no to myself. And it's because I put in the work to say no. My mom would be like, you want to go to the store? I'd be like, nope. I do not want to go to the store. Nope. If I see a dress, if I see anything that's cute, I'm going to want to buy it. Tell yourself no. Instead of spending everything today, think to yourself, emergency funds. Can I put this into my emergency funds for when when it will get rainy? Because we do have rainy days sometimes. Stability. Where can I put this so that things can be a little more stable in my life? Peace later. Where can I put this money so that I will have peace later? It's nothing, I'm telling y'all, peace is worth more than gold. It is when you're older. It's like everything else matters when you're young, but when you get a little old, I'm not old, I'm only 24, guys. But when you get older, then teenage, you be like, oh, peace, 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 peace. I love peace. Like, number 5, think to yourself, wasting is a form of neglect. And this is like unused subscriptions, like that Netflix account and the Hulu. I mean, we sometimes now you get the bundle, but before I remember one time we had Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. We had so many accounts and we don't use them all. Like them unused subscriptions, impulsive purchases that you might make, and buying things out of boredom. One thing that people struggle with and that I have struggled with as well is buying things out of boredom. I personally will buy things when I'm bored, like literally. And the reason why is because I'm bored. Like, and it's like, that is a habit for children. Children do things when they're bored. They just do anything when they're bored. Break it. We need to break the habit, because just because you're bored does not mean, the worst is being bored and broke. Don't be bored and broke. Like, and I had to learn that as well. I'd rather be stewarding, right, and bored than be bored and broke. And I know that it's so easy to just go on these websites and just window shop and look at all this stuff, and you got all this stuff in your cart, and then as soon as you get paid, you're like, ooh, it's time to empty this cart. I'm telling you, like, I already know, like, no, cut it off, cut it out. Don't be bored and broke. Let's be stewarding and bored. It's okay to be, because guess what? You're bored, but at least you got bread on the side. You know, at least you got your bills paid. At least you also got money in your savings. At least you're stewarding. And that is what truly matters. And it's like, yes, those clothes are still gonna be there. And sometimes maybe they won't, because, you know, sometimes things don't stay. It's either get it now or you know. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You will live. What you cannot live without is a home. What you cannot live without is a car. What you cannot live without is lights and water and food. Those are important things. Now, that bag that you want so bad that you seen that lady had in the store, like me, it's not needed. You know, it's not something that you can't live without. And it is okay. Listen to me when I say, it's okay. It's okay to tell yourself no, okay? Just believe that every dollar you save from wasting leads to a better future for yourself. You do not need 10 more bags. You do not need 10 more suits. You do not need 10 more dresses. You do not need 10 more pairs of shoes. You do not need these things. You need to master stewardship. And I believe that you can. I know. Things be so cute. But we have to tell ourselves no. Most people think that the money belongs to them, but the best way to stewardship, the best way to learn how to be a really good steward, it starts when you realize that the money that is in your hands is trusted in you to manage. God has blessed you to manage your money, to steward it well. And I'm telling you guys, once you're able to master stewardness, once you're able to be grateful for where God has you, He will bless you with more, right? That $100, I don't know how much everyone get paid, but if you get paid $100 or something like that, that $100, once you start being more grateful and start using it and storing it correctly, you can definitely store it enough from that 100 and make it into 200. Then after 200, then 300. If you stored it correctly. And yes, stewardship is not something that builds like really fast. No, it's something that you have to master. Even the little will turn big, and it will get bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's something that takes time. It's something that, I know you like, oh, I only got like $10 in here, I might as well just spend it. Don't spend the $10. Do not spend your $5. Never spend your last. Say it with me, class. We will not spend our last, because we cannot afford to have nothing. You can't afford to have nothing right now. The best thing to do, you rather have $10 in your pocket than have nothing. you cannot afford to have nothing. So the best thing to do is to build on that little, so that when it gets really big, when you spend that little $10 from that $1,000, and you just keep adding to it and adding to it. Before we end this video, first thing I want to give you is a Bible scripture, because one thing about me, I always try to refer back to the Bible. What does the Bible say about this? And in Luke 16:10, whoever can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. And that is Luke 16:10. And I just pray that we are able to know that whenever we stop taking what we have for granted, whenever we stop being scared of success and stop spending our last and stop, just learn to have self-control and know that learn that, say to yourself, I'm trying to be a better me. I'm trying to break these cycles and break these habits, and I can break these. God will start blessing you with so much more. So much more. He will bless you with so much more that you're gonna be like, whoa. And again, because you mastered stewardship, it's gonna be a breeze on how you're able to manage that money, because you already became a manager with the little that you had. So now when he blesses you with thousands, you're gonna be able to manage that with a breeze. All right, ladies, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what are some ways that you are able to steward. My best ways is never spend your last, and the money that you get does not belong to you. Let me know down in the comments some ways that you steward, and what are the best ways that you are able to steward. Remember, you are loved, I love you, and God loves you. Bye-bye.